All right, we're back again. It's a Thursday night special stream. I'm here. I apologize for being a little late. My dang dryer went out in my house um, last second. I was trying to find a hoodie and went to help my wife with some clothes, and the dryer's gone bad. So looks like I'm going to have a fun day tomorrow, and I'm here once again. Um, Overtime, no overtime at work. So I thought, well, you know what? I might as well just hop on the stream, see what's going on with everybody. And man, I've been so far behind on tackle unboxings and stuff. I figured, you know what? Let's just go ahead and continue to knock it out. And then tomorrow night, Baitman Jr. is going to be on here. Me and Baitman Jr. are going to unbox some more baits. And I'm also going to have Hellabass on here tomorrow night as well. So yeah, should be fun. So we got Hellabass Friday night, Saturday night, Epic Eric, and the MFer Ben Milliken. So that's crazy. I've been having a lot of guys say, hey man, I'm not getting notified when you upload a video, or I'm not catching the streams. What you need to do on YouTube, you need to go and click the notification bell. It's right beside the subscribe button, and set it to all. So anytime I post, like on the channel's community board, anytime I upload or start a stream or schedule a stream, it gives you a notification. And my webcam is starting to lean a little bit, and that really bothers me. So let's see if we can fix that. But yeah, so if you don't hit notifications and you subscribe, a lot of times you'll get a notification, but it's always late. Sometimes a day or 2 days later. So when you click that bell, make sure you hit set notifications to all. And I'm really thirsty tonight, by the way. This actually sun drop. Awesome. I do not have a unicorn rod. I think I'm going to order one to try one. I really like the ESP, and I really like the sensory. So, I got somebody said something. Retro Bassin, what's up, man? Great channel. Dude, that's awesome. Watching Smallmouth Crush Enemy. That's great, man. Travis got some great guests on. Eric's on there. So, uh-oh. Got a text. Gotta see who. Alright, anyway. So, I put it on my Instagram, and, you know, me and Eric are huge Flat A fans. And long story short, a color he's always talked about, his favorite, and one of mine too, and they're really hard to find, it's called Sun Perch. Well, Bomber Lures slash LureNet, they brought them back. They made 300 of them. And I found this out Monday night. Jimmy Mason posted this on here. And here we go. This is the new ones from Bomber Lures. See if we can get a good look at that in the webcam. That's called Sun Perch. It's kind of got a gold black back. And it's crazy chartreuse, a little blue, some green. Just a really nasty looking color. And this is a good dirty water color here on the Tennessee River. It's good this time of year. If you watched the Mark Menendez show where he was fishing a red-eye shad over on the Tennessee River, the actual river itself. Long story short, he was throwing a color called Pineapple Smash, which is very similar to this right here. But they only made 300, so if you weren't able to get in on the drop, I kind of apologize on that. But, dude, I got me 4 of them here because I did not know when they'll make it again. So, shout out to LureNet, and I'm going to be really honest. You know, I used to work for Pradco. They do some weird things in the fishing industry. I don't say that's a bad thing, but these I ordered Monday night. They're actually at my house Wednesday evening. Free shipping on LureNet over $25. So I'm not sponsored by them or anything. But man, if you're looking for Pradco baits, you know, Bomber, Excalibur, well, not Excalibur, Heading, stuff like that, free shipping over $25, and it was really quick. So, let's see, we'll answer some questions here. Evening Baitman, just got the SLX MGL 70. What lures would you recommend throwing on it? What rod and line? Well, the rod, I recommend using whatever rod you're comfortable. The rod action isn't going to change based on what reel you put on it. But the MGL 70 is more of a finesse bait caster. Doesn't have a huge spool. So I'd be looking at smaller presentations, possibly. Probably not a good big swim bait or topwater reel just because of the line capacity. But great for light Texas rigs, small finesse jigs. Good for throwing small square barrel crankbaits, stuff like that on. And if you don't, I mean, 7-foot medium heavy rod. But that's kind of what I would go with that SLX MGO. I would look at my smaller crankbaits, stuff like that. Doesn't have a lot of giant spool capacity, but you can pretty much do what you want to on it. Does have a small handle. All right. Let's see. Watching Ike vid about winter colors being more muted and pale. Do you agree? Yeah, I do agree with that. Except on maybe bright bluebird days on a jerkbait, I tend to still like the flashy stuff. But I do agree in the winter. If you look at the shad, they've lost their scales a lot. They're kind of ugly looking, especially when they're dying off. So those muted colors, your muted whites, your faded chartreuses and stuff like that, even your old shad wraps, that's a true deal there. So do me a favor, guys. Make sure you smash the like button for me. Share it if you stream if you can. If not, no big deal. I'm not in here trying to get 1,000 views or anything. I'm just kind of bored. I'm not going to work, so I might as well stream. I normally wouldn't stream on the same night as other people, but you know, I'm trying to get more content out as well. So yeah, dude, Greenfish Tackle does have some great stuff, Randy. They really do. I like their swim jig, and they actually make a really good buzzbait called the Toad Toter. They make some great flat sides too. Way to lure, Brittany. I probably wouldn't throw anything over, you know, an ounce or two. You know, obviously I'm not going to throw big heavy swim baits with that reel, but anything from a quarter to, I'm going to say 3/4 ounce, that reel is really going to perform well. It's actually probably going to do best with 3/8 to ½ ounce lures. Corey, I too seem dull in the winter. It happens, bud. It happens. So, let's see. So, what I want to talk about tonight and what we're going to go through. If y'all guys have been paying attention to the streams, my buddy Gary from California has been sending me a bunch of OG stuff, and this is another box of OG stuff. And I have opened it just to kind of browse through. I'm going to tell you, there's some killer stuff in here. So, first off, he sent me a basically Christmas card, and yes, it says the Baitman on there, and sent me a little note in here. Happy holidays, Baitman. If there's one thing my countrymen do well, it's knocking off everything, including baits. So Gary, he's not from the United States, he's from overseas. So today's box is topwater and swim baits. You'll see some that look very familiar, and some look the same. You tell me. And there's a little something for Baitman Jr. and Bait Girl stockings. Very glad I found your stream, and I hope these baits make a nice addition to your collection. Thanks for keeping it real, Gary. Gary, I appreciate you, man. And we're going to take a look at those baits and see what they look familiar with. And maybe some that's not. And he sent Bait Girl and Bait Jr. a little make you holla money. Their piggy banks are getting full. I'll just say that. Baitman Jr. will be buying a Shimano Aldebaran at this rate. So, well, Gary might do it. I don't know. I do have some Wanderers. They're kind of like a hard Cinco. Not my favorite bait. They're great on schooling fish though, but I always forget to take them. Is the fritz side the best plastic flat side out? When would you throw that versus wood? I don't know if it is or not. I haven't fished enough. I've heard a lot of really good things about the fritz side. But man, a Spro Little John is a flat side. It's been out for a long time, and it's a really, really good bait. Some of the Lucky Craft flat sides, like the Skeet, the KJ flat, man, they're really hard to beat. They don't get the love because there's not as many pro staffers out there. But the fritz side is a good bait. It's basically the plastic version of the Rapala DT flat. Dude, the Crush Flat 75 from 6 cents. You can just look on social media how many people are buying or catching fish on that bait. I would say it would definitely be in the top 5. It just hasn't been out long enough for me to say 100%. A very underrated one is the KVD 1.5 flat. It's a very good flat side crankbait. Fishes a lot deeper than many of them. Evergreen Flat Force is really good. OSP HPF is really, really good. There's a lot of good ones. And of course, you start talking JDM stuff, a lot of those baits don't get the love here because, again, there's not as many people on promotional staffs and whatnot pushing them. But the one cool thing I'll say about the fritz side is I've seen a lot of people talking about them that aren't associated with Berkley. And so that's always a good sign. It's a good bait, runs good. I just haven't fished enough. Megabass Sonic side's amazing too. Alright, first thing first, we're going to get into this bait. I've got a sack within the box, padded, and this feels like a reel. I haven't opened this yet. Won't be getting a deep flat 55. You're going to get, I believe you're going to get a deep regular flat 55X from 6 cents before anything. So, oh my gosh, check this out. Gary has sent me a pearl. This reel is OG. In fact, this reel was probably made before some of you guys started fishing. This thing is in mint shape. There is not a scratch on it. This is probably, and fight me if I'm wrong, the best reel Shimano ever made for the price. This is the Chronarch 100. It is the step up from the Corrado. I still have one, and I use it. 6 ball bearings at the time. This was like amazing. Dude, this thing is mint. This is not going up on the shelf to look at. I will fish with this reel. The only thing, I would still use these reels, but you don't get them in a 7-to-1 ratio. It was I believe 6-3-to-1 all the way around. So I threw some Topwater with it this fall, and you can cast Topwater baits a mile, but when you hook one, it takes forever to reel them in. But man, this reel right here, this is kind of my first high-end reel I ever bought. You know, I had some green Corrados when I was growing up fishing. I had a bunch of older Lew's and some Flugers, and then I remember I bought like 6 of these used from Terry Bolton, and I was so ecstatic. And I bought 4 or 5 more, and that's, dude, until about 2009, that's all I used was these Pearl Chronarchs. I've caught so many fish on them. Very simple brake system on here. You just open the side plate here. It does come completely off, so you can actually lose the side plate because I lost one in the lake. Well, this version size, but your brake system's in here. You just push them out to turn the brakes on, those little red clips, or you pull them in. I'm going to be honest. If you set the brakes off on this reel, you put the right line on it, right rod, right bait, you can absolutely launch. They are super smooth. They're really good crankbait reels too. So with that I believe it's 6-3-to-1, it might be 6-8-to-1 ratio, you can throw a lot of good crankbait reels on it. I mean, you just can't tear these up. Of course, I'll probably tear this one up right now. Man, this thing is prime. I think I'm going to do some square billing with this thing right here. Man, that's a nice reel. Gary, that makes it worth it right there. I mean, these things go on eBay from anywhere from $80 to $150, but to me, they're priceless. They're great reels. I tell people all the time, if you got high school fishermen or people just getting into college fishing and they're on a budget, go look for those old green Corrados or those white Chronarchs right there. They're still really, really good reels. It's the best $195 reel Shimano ever made. Still have 6 or 7. Yeah, dude, it's really good. Now, I like the E-Series Chronarchs as far as fit my hand a little bit better. And they're tanks too, but they're also used like $200. So, hello, I do have an old bait caster called the Abu Garcia from Sweden. Yeah, dude, the old Swedish Abu Garcias are sweet. Yes, the gold was super free, and they were just as nice, if not nicer. And if you remember right, Darius, they had the magnesium that was super light. It was like, I had a couple of those and I really liked them, but I can't justify that they were that much better than the gold or pearl ones. But they're sweet reels. Those old Chronarchs, man. I've told the guys at Shimano, if you want to sell a bunch of reels, go make a Chronarch and paint it pearl and have some gold ones. Do a special run. People will buy a ton of them just for the nostalgia feel on it. I love the 50 mg Chronarch, the even smaller one. That was my first, finesse bait caster. Putting those suckers on a real light rod were awesome. But anyways, guys, if you're just getting in here, thanks so much. Make sure you hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button for me as well. And thanks for the love on last night's video. Remember, if you order from Ignite Baits, the code is actually JAINT15, not Jaints, but Jaint. I fixed that in the description of the video as well. So, all right, let's go on. Well, I see some swim baits right up top here. I see an odd one. Not sure when to throw this one. Post spawn. I have never seen one of these. It's actually a river to sea. Oh, check this thing out. This is like a half swim bait, half popper. Holy cow! We got to get this thing out of the package. It's called the Live Pop 150. Dude, this is some old school river to sea. Like, I don't know if I can even get this out without just completely ripping up the package. Let's see if we can see this thing. So if you see, it's got a popper-like face, one treble hook. It's actually pretty soft. Let's see if I can do this without just killing the package. Yeah, I can. There we go. We got to check this thing out. Land Big Fish, 20% off everything. Crazy. Man, I'll have to cut this thing open. I've lost my scissors there. So, anyway, there it is in the package, man. This thing's, I've never seen one of these. I wonder how it does with that one treble hook, though. Probably would be a pretty okay musky pike bait, if not for bass. It actually has a little rattle in it, but that's an old school bait from river to sea I've never seen. If you have experience with this, let me know. The cool thing about musky lures is they tend to work for bass as well. This says it's 6 inches, 1 1/8 ounce, so it's pretty heavy for a topwater. It's pretty cool. It's kind of OG. Let's see what's this. All right. This is big. You're talking big. Check this guy out. This is it's called from First. This is from First Ma. So I'm taking that's an overseas company made in China. Let's see. It looks like a Spro BBZ1. It's 210 millimeters, and it's a big old trout. I agree, Hellbass probably gets smashed. It's just not getting a lot of hookups. So whatever this company, I've never heard of this company, but they obviously dabble in knockoffs, which I'm not a huge fan of, but these packages look really old. Check out that big trout. I mean, that looks like a Spro BBZ1 trout. You know, I don't have any trout around me. This is one, two, a big 3-piece, but it's got a real soft tail back here. So this tail is soft and flexible. All these fins are flexible. Maybe this is a jointed castaic knockoff, but I really feel like it's a BBZ1. But dude, that's a big bait. Let's look at the depths over here. So it is smaller than a depths 250. It is smaller than a depths 250. Pretty crazy. I mean, sure, it'd work. I'm not much into KO baits, but I wonder when this package was made, though. It's one thing I like to know, if this is new or if this has been out for a long time. Yeah, it looks just like a BBZ1 trout. So, you know, this is a good time to bring this up. There's certain factories overseas, and this is kind of how the Guggen, Catch Co, Sixth Sense thing. There's certain factories overseas. This is what they specialize in. Is, you know, one company makes a bait, and so they come and say, hey, we can make the same bait, and that's how it goes. At the end of the day, it's up to the parent company to approve what goes on the U.S. market. So I've not seen any Spro BBZ1 KOs by any company, so and I don't own one. So I'll definitely chunk this around, but if I was going to spend my own money, you know, I'd buy the Spro version, of course. But obviously, it looks good, though. Not going to lie, it looks good. It actually looks better than you can see on this webcam, and that's a big bait. And I promise you, it's going to catch some bites. So that's a great question, Sean. Does the large splash from those lures not scare the fish? That's what I always wondered. I look at it like this. If an outboard motor isn't going to scare one when you sit down on pad, I don't think the splash from a lure is going to bother one. In fact, sometimes I think it's intriguing to bass. If you've ever thrown topwater baits around trees that are overhanging, sometimes you'll get a bite as soon as the lure hits the water. I think they hear that splash and they realize something happened. You know, something's in trouble. We got to investigate or react to it. So. Is that one of Debo's dakes? Actually, what this is a replication of a bait, replication of one of Andrew Flair's giant fish catches. So I'll definitely hang on to that. Definitely would try to put it up here with the depths 250. Probably put it behind the depths 250. All right, let's see. All right, here's another. I've seen some of these before. This is from a company called Real Fish Bait Company. This is definitely something that's kind of come on the Alibaba train. Not saying it's bad. This one's supposed to simulate a hitch, though. So if you don't know what a hitch is, that's kind of like a California version of a gizzard shad. Get this thing out of here. One thing is, they did put it in the package well. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4-piece segment. It looks realistic. Wrap. I'm not a big fan of that, but it's definitely something it's actually got 5 joints in it. Some people say these are really good. I'm not a huge fan of this style of swimbait. It looks kind of cheap to me, just keeping it real. That's not down on Gary that sent it to me, because he would want me to be honest what I thought. Would it catch fish? Absolutely. It's got kind of a herring profile too, but me, I would throw like a bull herring over this. So Boy Duckett is jealous. I have not got a new Scottsboro swim bait. I will grab one though. Hopefully Tim sends me one. I need to put together a TW order, but that's that one to me. I'm gonna put that. I might have to put that in a giveaway. That's just not one I'm gonna throw a lot. Some guys really like that style, and it sounds really cheap made too. Who the hell sent you that POS? Sorry I'm late. Eye doctor. Hey Gary, what's up, man? Done gave you a shout out. We popped open that Chronarch reel first thing, man. You have made my night. My dryer went out, so that makes me feel a lot better about things. I'll set this thing over to the side here in a second. I got to keep it real, though. You know, I'm not... I think this would have been a lot really better deal. What's up, Freestyle Bassin? Thanks for joining in, man. Robert says bait is from Modesto, California. So I'm a California guy that's going to know about this. So the only thing is I see a lot of ads on Instagram and Facebook and Alibaba about stuff like this. That does not mean those baits don't work. Let's see here. Oh, check this out. This is a bait I've talked about quite a bit. I know some people on YouTube don't know anything about lunker hunt baits, but they still want to sell them to you. All right, just kidding, Trav. This is a good swim bait. This is the Lunker Hunt Fetch. I'm going to get this one out, man. Out of everything Lunker Hunt makes, this is probably the best. So, and I hate to say it, but this bait here is a copy of the 316 minnow that Mickey makes there at Lake Fork. Matt Array won a lot of money on the 316 minnow. So it's got that kind of flat hand pour design to it. You got a slit in the belly. It's made to fish up in the water column. So you can throw whatever weighted swim bait hook you want to on there, but you really don't want it to be too heavy. This is a great swim bait around docks. It's great around shallow grass. Guys, skip this back under cover. Obviously, this is going to be cheaper than a 316 swim bait, but you know when it comes to Lunker Hunt, you know they get a lot of flack, and I know not a lot of their stuff is great. The Fetch actually catches fish very, very well. Now, I'm a guy that I like the OG stuff. So I will probably buy 316 stuff, but they're hard to get. You don't find 316 in a lot of local stores. I think Scottsboro Tackle carries them, Hookup Tackle, and that's about it. Or you got to buy them from the 316 store. You can find these Lunker Hunt Fetches at a good price. I mean, I hate to say it, discount bins, Dick's Sporting Goods. You can find the Fetch. I think even Academy has some. But they're getting harder because they didn't sell real well. So, if I was going to recommend buying a Lunker Hunt bait, this would definitely be one. They don't have a lot of crazy colors. Most are all natural. So. Lug nut, can we collab? You going to put lug nuts on my wheels? Is that how that works? No saltwater hunts. Big eye, tailspin, trash don't work. Scottsboro similar to True Bass. Not even close, man. True Bass is a hollow belly. Scottsboro's True Bass is really narrow. True Bass is more similar to the Berkley Power Swimmer or the Bass Tricks, whereas the Scottsboro is more of its own mold. Somebody asked me a question about the Scottsboro just a second ago. So the Scottsboro's got more kick to it than a True Bass. It's a thicker bait. True Bass has got a little bit more roll, a more head to back. It also depends on how you rig them. So if you rig a True Bass on like a Bass Tricks hollow belly on a regular hook, you kill the head action. Whereas the Scottsboro is a little thicker. It's got more meat on it. It doesn't really kill the head action as bad. So, dude, Mission Fish is a good one. Baitman, what was that color? Gizzard or greenback? It's called Gizzard. Good guess there, Chris. Appreciate. Man, I don't think the True Bass are really that pricey. I wasn't a fan of them at first when they'd first come out. And it has nothing to do with who owned the company or any of that stuff. It's just that I was catching so many fish on the Bass Tricks that I just couldn't find anything that fished as good and caught as many fish. And maybe it was in my head or mind, but I know there's a lot of people that like them, and I'm gonna give them another try, especially since Bass Tricks they're out of business, but they're coming back out. So, well, they're also made overseas, Sean. So we all know how things go overseas this year. it's hard to get stuff in because of COVID. So yeah, so Tim at Scottsboro, he actually owns the CAD molds to the Scottsboro style. And from what I'm told, Jeff Pill that owned Fringe Tackle, him and Tim were partners at one time. And I don't think there's any bad blood over that or anything. It's just is what it is. There's several companies that use a Scottsboro type mold, but all the CADs and original files for those molds are owned by Tim. So, obviously he doesn't mind people using that style. So it is what it is. What's up, Ryan Varner? I have fished the Beast Coast Miyagi. Matter of fact, Dad Bod, there's a video on my channel. I actually caught a couple fish on it. It's a pretty good bait. I like the Miyagi. I'll be honest, bell fishing, this is just me. I'm not a big fan of spark shad. I feel like I've threw a lot. I've got some here somewhere. I threw the 5-inch one quite a bit, and I've got some more actually in a tackle box. So there's a spark shad for you guys asking. I don't really get a lot of head movement out of this bait. It's really, really soft. It's probably better in cold water because it's so soft. But for when I was fishing in the summer and ledges and stuff like that, this bait, the tail seemed to do this. Like, I wasn't getting a lot of roll and swimming action. The tail would just kind of flip in the back. I mean, I've caught fish on it. I do feel it's very nichey. That's just me. I'm obviously not a great fisherman either. But here's the cool thing about swim baits, man. Just like anything else, you got to find something that works for you and your style fish. You can go to one lake and they may eat a bass tricks better than anything else. Go to the next lake, it's a spark shad or it's a Kai-Tech. That's why I keep a lot of different versions on there. So, let's see. Have you ever tried a fish finder for the bank? I have not, Brittany. I sure have not. Actually, Sean, the first fish I caught on spark shad were on an A-rig. I will say this: if you put a spark shad in the middle on an A-rig, it works really, really good. So. Looking for a light Texas rig finesse jig rod. Was thinking about trying the 7-1 medium heavy sensory. That's a really good rod. You can also go, if you want to go a little cheaper, get that 7-3 heavy. It's not a true pull cue. Dobbins has some great stuff for light Texas rig finesse jigs as well. Yeah, I've never fished ledges with it, but rigging it underspin and sprint is pretty deadly. But you're right. Yeah, I don't really throw when I throw underspins, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it's a great technique, but sometimes I feel like adding flash and stuff to swim baits is a little too much because everybody's doing it. But I like to keep my underspin baits pretty compact. So if I'm gonna underspin that, I definitely go with like the 4-inch version. Or go with that screw head a lot of guys use. I just have so much luck on a regular Kai-Tech or like a Divine swim bait. Something compact like that on underspin does really well for me. Let's see. I think Kentucky Lake's going to be better, man. I just seen the BFL schedule, William. And I don't know. I thought about jumping in those as co-anglers. They're all out at Kentucky Dam except for the last one. I need something to do this spring. It won't be long till March will be here. Be fun. Maybe I'd document it on the GoPro. All right, let's look at some more swim baits. All right. It says, are these OG on the package? And that is yes. This is the original Berkley hollow belly. So here's a good comparison we're going to do. Here's the original. Here's the new. Original, new. Let's see if they look any different or the same. This is the best color too, by the way. This is a hitch. Like when I ran out of bass tricks, I would hunt these things up, and they swam really, really good, and they had the power bait scent. Yes, that's a good rod, Dad Bod. Let's see. All right. I've actually used these new ones and caught several fish. But this is the true bass is very similar shape to this right here. Like a bass tricks, it's got a little bit fatter body, and this has got a lot narrower tail. So this is the new power bait hollow belly. Really good bait. It is kind of thin. The packaging keeps them tails nice and straight too. And this is an old school one. Let's see if there's any difference. Cool thing is, in the old ones, they would actually give you an EWG hook in here as well. Ooh, still smells like power bait. All right. First comparison, the OG one is quite a bit bigger. Very similar. They're both slender. This is actually kind of like the Core X from 6 cents. These are not near as fat as a Bass Tricks. I think they're going to be pretty close to the same. This is 5-inch, and this is 6-inch. So, yeah, I'm comparing a 5-inch to a 6-inch bait. I think everything's pretty dang similar. I had heard that the new hollow bellies were using the same mold as the old ones. This one's tail's a little crooked, but man, that hitch, I love that white and gold. Man, that catches fish. Zoom makes a swim bait just like that, yeah, but Zoom had a... I like the Zoom swimmer a lot, but they're a lot different. The material's a whole lot different. They're not quite as soft, but they thump really hard. So the Zoom, because the material, the tail thumps really hard, it's a great swim bait. I've caught a ton of fish. It's super durable. The head doesn't have as much movement. Now, you put it on a belly weighted hook, it's great. But one thing I don't do is, I saw it in the comments, I do not use a hollow belly on A-rig ever. They just don't hold up very well. When the A-rig first came out, a lot of guys were putting Bass Tricks on there, and they're going through 3 or 4 packs of Bass Tricks a day just because you'd catch one fish and it'd tear up like 3 or 4. So guys got smart. They started going to like the skinny dippers, then the Kitex, stuff like that. Think about an A-rig, one fish can tear up 3 or 4 baits. And then you can also catch multiple fish on an A-rig. So, but power bait, hollow belly, good bait, man. Very underrated. If you can't catch a Bass Tricks or the True Bass, I definitely recommend these in that hollow belly market. I'm going to put these up. I'm going to fish with these. Tails are a little bent on here, but we can make it live. I can live with that. That's the thing about these old baits. They've been sitting there so long. If I can get this back in here. Appreciate that, Gary. These are OG. There's a lot of people that look for these. They made a bluegill color that was really popular. A lot of guys wanted. It was like a fire tiger bluegill and a blueback herring. I'm trying to keep the bait room kind of organized. I'm switching the camera up tomorrow night for me and Rich. I'm actually going to stream on the other side of the bait room. You'll see all my soft plastics. Let's see. Baitman post stream. Do you ever go back, watch, and read comments? Every time. I try to watch the comment right here. And I try to respond to about everything I can. And Hellabass is good about answering too. He's a great mod. But like when people comment after the video, I try to acknowledge it at least, and I try to go back and answer it as well. So. Yes, Prairie Bass Fishing sure has. That's basically the old Bubba from Strike Pro. But it's a cool bait for sure. That and the Swank 77, they're very unique. There's nothing like those 2 baits on the market. Yes, he has, and he's really excited about that bait. Going to drop a video about that probably next week as well. He's got some really good insight in that bait, and I'll let him do the explaining, but he feels it may be a better topwater bait than a crankbait. Alright, what else we got in here? Uh-oh, here's another lure from First Mall. It says, Gary writes, I bet Matt and Tim can't tell the difference. Oh, wow. Now, this company is just straight up, they got them a little Swimbait KO game going. What do we think this guy is? I mean, let's be honest. That looks very similar to the old Light Trout S-Waver 168. Only thing I can tell difference is the tail is actually a really nice soft plastic. See how many millimeters this is. Look at here. These people are ruthless. They do not care. They've even named this the S-Waver 165. These people overseas, they'll just KO anything. That said, looks good. I'm good buddies with Matt and Tim. I like the River to Sea folks. I would probably buy the River to Sea version, but I don't know. So here's the deal. Whether we're talking S-Waver, River to Sea, or this bait, that light trout color is a really good color. It draws a lot of reaction bites. It's visual. The bass can see it. I don't care if you live in a lake that's just full of bluegill. Pick up the light trout color. I mean, it works. Matt Robertson loves it. I definitely would like to throw this and see how it swim in a pool beside a S-Waver, if there's any internal differences or anything. I'm sure this thing costs about $5. The only major difference I see is this has got that plastic style tail, whereas the S-Wavers is a little bit harder. Man, First Mall, first to KO. I actually have thought about buying a Dremel tool. I'm going to hang this up. Thought about buying a Dremel from the Home Depot to cut up some baits and actually say, all right, like I'd love to cut up an old RC 1.5 and a new one, check the internals and stuff like that. Could get really expensive. Yeah, I agree with that, Ryan. I'm not going to go look to buy knockoff S-Wavers because, honestly, S-Waver 168 for what it is, they're what, 16 bucks? They're not bad at all. I do not mind paying that. I'll be on, and I don't mind paying, you know, for a bull shad because I like them. You know, this one was custom painted by TK. I mean, that's an $80 bait. I don't mind helping TK out. Throwing him some side money, and Mike Buka at his price. The guy's got to make money, you know what I mean? I'm going to support those guys. Dan T says he got a KO at Cabela's that swam like shit. Why does that not surprise me? That's the thing about the KO stuff. There's a difference between like making a bait that looks similar or has a similar style to another bait versus just straight up a KO. Like people selling I got Spro KOs and Megabass Vision KOs on eBay. I don't buy those. Like, I don't mind buying like a Spro McStick or obviously a 6 cents Provoke. They're similar looks to a Vision 110, but they're not the same bait, and they don't try to be the same. No problems with that. I think that's fine. But when these people on Facebook are like, "Oh, I got Megabass knockoffs," I don't even look at it no more. Somebody tagged me in a really good looking bait. It looked great. It was chartreuse purple, you know, and they sent it to me. He said, "This has got your name on it." And I said, "I don't throw KOs." And they said, "Really?" And I said, "Man, I don't." So, what's up, Serious Angler? My man Bailey on here. Great podcast. Be careful with opening baits. Some goons get butt hurt. Man, I call it like I see it. People gonna get upset when I unbox a bait. That's how it is. Dude, that Jackal Blast Bone does look dope, doesn't it? I saw that on YouTube. Really like that. Jackal's got cool stuff. All right. Wow, here are some lures, non-swim baits from Fenwick. Yes, the same people that make them. Yes, I got to get them organized, TJ. What's up, my man? I was watching your video. I was waiting on some Mexican food. Man, I would love to get organized like you, my man. I'm working on it, but every time I get organized, I get more stuff in, and my OCD's like, change this, change that. Lucas, the reason KOs don't work well has nothing to do because they're made in China, because 80 to 90% of the hard baits out there are made overseas, either in China or Guatemala. They don't work well because they take things away from the bait, original bait, that they can't put in there, you know. So this is pretty cool. Fenwick, this is a Methods chugging bait. I haven't seen any of these Fenwick baits. It's actually a pretty good little popper. Nice shad look. Got some cheap hooks on it, but they're kind of sticky. Like this guy. Never seen one of those before. I didn't know Fenwick had their own line of baits. That's pretty cool. It's hard to beat a chrome popper sometimes. I mean, just finesse, little chrome popper around the shad spawn late in the fall. What's up, Luke Ripple? I had to call Luke tonight telling him, yo, bro, don't go to work. This is the darting bait. This is a really small, very similar to the Ichiban minnow. Very finesse looking walking bait here. Dang, man, y'all must not like the baits tonight. Viewers are dropping like flies. We went from 205 to like 190. Someone's pooping on my channel. Man, YouTube's really not been friendly lately. So check that guy out. It does have a really loud little knock in there. I was browsing TW earlier today. What the heck is Attic Annie? I have no clue. Uh oh, Hellabass has got to run. Yes, Tim, they definitely try to make this stuff look like the original, but the insides are a whole lot different. Baitman, I got to get you a UFO weight gill and some toxic swimmies. Dude, I really would like to get some toxics. I like Caesar's stuff, man, and from all accounts, he's a good dude. This is called the Method Darter Bait, made by Fenwick. And then, whoo, talk about finesse. Dude, if I could quit my job, I would stream every day. I would have a set time and I'd stream every day. Look at this thing. Dude. Very finesse, man. Would, dare I say, a crappie bait? I don't know what size trebles these are. It has to be like a number 10 size treble. Itty bitty. Panfish killer right here, though. Stuff like this always seems to slay bass in ponds as well. Wow. I'd probably have to use Baitman Jr.'s pole just to cast this thing out. But really cool. I've never seen any Fenwick baits. Gary's giving me all kinds of baits to do fishing challenges on. Imagine thumbnail, world's smallest jerk bait. Does it catch fish? Surprising results. Gary, you know, I don't want to do bait auctions like that, but you know what I was thinking to Gary, since you've sent me so much stuff, I ought to just put together an OG giveaway one night and give away a whole box of this OG stuff so everybody can go out and get a taste of the old school. No reason for me to hang on to everything, stuff I've got multiples of. Yeah, we'll do like an OG giveaway. Look for that. I got to get some stuff shipped out and get caught up on everything, but look for that in the future. We'll do an OG bait giveaway. All right, let's see what else we got in here. Woo! This is from a Summer Dancer 45. Yeah. So I've seen this style of bait from a lot of different, companies pop up. It's a real thin, jointed swim bait, five joints in here. Believe it or not, I will say this: these things are pretty good on a burn. Like, you can burn these big time. But again, it's cheap material made from overseas. Nothing against China, but these are like very common. Weighs half an ounce, 12-pound line. Now, one thing I will say, if you're a new beginner fisherman, you just want to get in to swim baits, there's nothing wrong with buying cheap stuff like this, because they will catch a few fish. And I'm not saying that this bait catch less fish than a more expensive bait or $90 bull shad's always going to overperform this. Sometimes bass are into the profile and action of the bait. And there's nothing wrong with keeping a few of these things around to play with or whatnot, but you know, it is what it is. All right. Uh-oh. Oh, snap. Now we're getting into some more good hard baits right here, baby. In the box. In the box. Yeah, Ignite's a swim bait company. Thank you, 10 Horse Monty. And to answer your question, Monty, you asked what was my favorite color. They make a color called Blue Giz. I really, really like it. And they make a lavender shad. That's kind of my favorite on them. At Pickwick, I caught them on a color called, it was like a silverback with a green line through it. Several years ago with Brandon Hunter. Really good one. Got us another OG Jimmy Houston Super Spook. So now I've got 2 of those. So guess what? I think we'll put this in the future giveaway pile. I love these Jimmy Houston Super Spooks, man. They're really good baits. The package fell apart here. That's alright. But here's one I don't have. Believe it or not, I did not have one of these. Who on here has caught bass on the Bill Dance Excalibur Spitting Image? Great, great bait, man. These things walk really well. At one time, this was one of the best bluegill imitating topwaters out there. I think it still is. The way it sits in the water and moves. They're deadly around brim beds. I know some guys here in Kentucky like love throwing these around shallow stumps. Really excels on those. In the summer, stuff like that. Dude. Retro Brass and Rise from the Morning Sun got no work today. I hear you, bud. So, they made some really good colors in these spitting images. They make an Ozark Shad one that's really, really good too. That's one of my favorites. Really like the spitting image. The smaller, yes, Gary says they made a smaller one. It's good. And then they made, let's see, there's a spitting image, awaken image, and there's one more, correct? Is it the walking image? Yeah, dude, anything in this old Excalibur stuff at the time, dude, Pradco was like king. They made a lot of really, really good stuff. Alright, let's see here. Oh, speaking of the small spitting image, looky here. So there's the smaller one for comparison. That same color as that Super Spook. This is a good color. Very simplistic color, translucent. Man, I wish I could still find these somewhere in the package like that. Really, really good bait. Popping image, spitting image, waking image. Thank you, Tim. Check that out. Bill Dance Fat Free Shad. Dude, this... so what was cool on this stuff back in the day, they had contests. So when you bought these baits, you could fill out these cards, mail it in, and a lot of times you would win something. I actually know somebody that won a fishing trip with Jimmy Houston by filling out one of these cards and sending it back in. That's some cool stuff I'd love to see companies do today. I know everything's on social media, but people like my dad and father-in-law, they don't do social media. If they buy a bait and say, hey, win a trip with Jimmy Houston, or, you know, maybe win a trip with Baitman, which I don't know if you'd want to do that, fill out this and send it in. So that's pretty cool. It even says, check out our show on TNN. TNN's been gone forever, so crazy. I don't know if anybody's seen, but Bass Mafia's got a new buzzbait, spinnerbait case, and I'm really excited about it. It's called the Bud Bag. It's got like 6 or 8 compartments that you can flip back and forth. I'll be so excited to find me a good storage for my buzzbaits. And I've got to get me more boxes. So I'm going to have dedicated boxes just for my OG baits. Let's see here. I am going to have a contest, and I'm probably going to run it in February. I got to run it by my guy. but we're going to do win a fishing trip with Baitman. I'm going to take you to Lake X. It'll be a subscriber only contest, and I'll pay for your hotel stay and meals as long as you can get here. I'll take you to Lake X. All right, now check this guy out. This is the old Norman Topwater. I forgot the exact name of this, but this is an old package too. A Rick Clunn design. This is back when Norman Lures was made in Arkansas. Got that bone red eyes on there. Whoa, did you see my webcam did not like that? What is the name of this guy? Yes, it was on their Instagram, Tyler. It is available on their website too. It's called the Bud Bag. Yeah, I need to buy a boat, but I'm sure if I have a subscriber giveaway winner, I'll find a boat. Now, if you want to bring your own, feel free. But man, God, what was the name of these? I've said this thing before. It's not a top dollar. And these were the professional edge. So I didn't buy these because I wasn't a pro, but these always put the Gamakatsu hooks. Yeah, I think it's a rattle lure or something like that. Dude, I promise you they'll eat this. Bone topwaters that walk, bass are going to eat this one. That's actually going to go into the box of It Will Catch Fish. Small profile. It's not a real big walking bait. I like it. Alright, we're getting close to the bottom of the box here. How about a couple more river to sea baits? Oh, looky here. The old style bubble pop. Wish I had a new one. I don't know if I can open this or not, but I'm going to try. Well, this one's never been opened. It's taped up. The tube bug bag on their site is $44.99. Yeah, you know, Bass Mafia is definitely not going to be the cheapest. And, you know, I do like their stuff. Alright, this is the old bubble pop. So that's a pretty good size popper. If you notice, unlike that bubble walker that has the open gill plates, this one doesn't have open gill plates. It's nice and solid. This is actually reminds me more of the big G Splash than it does the Megabass Pop Max. It does have some good, if you notice, it's got some EWG treble on the back. Very loud. What's the coldest water temperature you would throw a topwater? Probably 50 degrees. 50 degrees. I've caught some topwater fish in the late fall in 53, 54 degree water. Especially on days where it's had a lot of worming trend. If you can catch a fish in 2 foot of water on a spinnerbait in the winter, you can catch them on topwater. It is still live, MX Bass, still live. So that's a good looking popper. I'd throw that. These are the old River to Sea packages, man. They kind of put them in these oval clamshells and stuff like that. Alright, here's this is, Gary wrote a note here. Good action. If you could heat and bend the lip, it would make a good wake bait. Alright. We can always tinker. This is a bigger bait. Ooh. I got you. I see what. This is like similar to like a Jackal Mikey. But I guess it's meant to dive. I've never seen one of these. Check that out. Very similar to a Mikey. Now the joints are a little tight on it. Kind of that American shad, gold chrome looking color. Definitely could see this working. You could probably run some heavy mono and make this thing right up closer to the top. Wouldn't you agree, Gary? Really cool bait though. Definitely got a lot of similarities to the Jackal Mikey. I know guys that have caught a lot of fish on these style swim baits too. This is kind of like a hybrid weight swim bait, you know, basically a crank down. You know, Swim Bait World calls these crank downs. And that is the Party Crasher color. It doesn't say it here. It don't even say the color on here, but that's very similar to that S-Waver Party Crasher. Alright, let's see. I'll answer a couple questions. To your knowledge, what is the smallest profile crankbait that dives the deepest? Probably, actually, believe it or not, it's probably with the small profile, it's probably going to be a Berkley Dredger 25. I mean, it gets way down there. And maybe the OSP Blitz DR gets way down there. The Tiny Blitz DR, yeah, I would say that's going to get down there. But let's see. Serious angler, I'd say rock crawler gets deep for size. It does. Tiny Blitz DR, I think what he's looking for is the smallest body versus the deepest. The Tiny Blitz DR, the Hot Lips Timber Tiger actually gets down there. A lot of them. I personally like the Lucky Craft Skeet Fat Mini DR. It gets down to about 10 foot. It's a really good bait. Now obviously you can get these baits down deeper based on what line you use. If it's wintertime and you can crank with 8-pound fluorocarbon, 10 easy. You got to remember, you're not throwing these crankbaits in the same stuff you would throw them, you know, beating the banks in the summer. You're going to catch these fish in open water, off a point, off riprap, stuff like that. You don't necessarily going to be in a lot of trouble when you hook a bass, and you can let the rod do its work. So Rick Bart's throwing out that JDM knowledge. If anybody knows about that stuff, or Rick would for sure. All right, last two things we got in here is two frogs. It says the hook in the yellowhead is the best I have found. Barb to bend is huge. Okay, and yellowhead. So this is, again, this is the First Ma company, our great friends over in Chinaland. You can also put a rubber core sinker above. Wow, that is a pretty sweet looking hook. I'm trying to think of what this thing reminds me of. I don't think it's a bullywah. It sits really flat. I actually like that color. Somebody tell me who. It's not a Bose Sumo frog, that's for sure. No, it doesn't really, not the same profile as a gabbit. The face kind of looks like a gabbit, but the body's a lot way wider than a gabbo. It actually has more of a scum frog look like to me. No, I'll get a gabbo. It doesn't have the same mouth either. Let me find my daggone frog box and I'll show you. Of course, my frog box is on the very bottom. This could be bad, guys. This could be real bad. Alright, let me see here. Alright. Yeah, it's kind of close to the ish fat frog. Alright. So here's the gabbo, okay? From Mega Bass. Yeah, they're really not that similar at all. I mean, the whole body profile is totally different as well. It does have the back shoulders though. But the gabbo is still quite a bit bigger and narrower. This is, I would say, the Ish's fat frog, or just a straight up scum frog is probably the closest thing this is. Gabbo is a great frog, by the way. My frog box it's looking good. Needs a good trip with old Hellabass to get some of these all beat up. I've actually got to make two frog boxes because I've got so many lately. I definitely will trim the legs on this thing right here. That's one thing I do on my frogs. I very rarely keep the legs the same size. I usually trim at least half of them off. I need to get some more OSP baits. They're just so daggum expensive. Actually, the plastic on this, it's not stiff at all. This thing is really soft. I mean, it collapses really easy. I might actually keep one of these to try. It doesn't really look that bad. I like the hook on it. And then the last thing I got in this package here is another frog. Now this one looks very similar to like a live target Copper's frog. Got real short legs on this guy. Dude, this thing is paper thin. Like it don't take nothing to get through. The hook is a little bit more finessey, a lighter wire. You also notice, I'm going to tell you, y'all see any similarities between that packaging and 13 Fishing's frog and live target? Because I do. So one thing about it is they don't send baits in plastic bags to the United States and you put them in your own packages. They come in the factory in your custom packaging. That's very similar to some stuff I've seen before. But this thing is very, I mean, it doesn't take much. It's got a little weight back there to cast. Probably just a, you know, a cheap frog they make that, you know, Walmart or big box stores carry under their own home brand, stuff like that. Yeah, dude, Trash Panda is definitely, I'm not a big fan of that bait. Does more expensive equal better? No. There's a lot of, and also, on the contrary, I see people say my cheaper baits perform just as good as expensive baits. And in a way it's true, in a way it's not. There's definitely times when I think a Megabass Vision 110 outperforms a Rogue. I think when you get into high-end swim baits, I feel like Gancraft, Bull Shad, they perform really well for the price. Obviously, a Depths 250 is one of the OG baits, and they work really good. Caught so many fish on them. So then you got stuff like River to Sea, Sneaky Pete stuff that's, you know, G-Rat baits that aren't really expensive but catch. So I think frog is one of those baits, though, you don't have to spend a lot of money to catch fish. Like, you know, the Vega frog from 6 cents is amazing. It's like $10. And then scum frogs are $7, $8. Spro frogs, you don't have to spend more than $10 to get a really good frog. So yeah, I will agree with that, Hello Bass. I think for the money, the S-Wave is probably your best fish catching glide bait. And I want people to know there's a big difference between a glide bait and a swim bait. Like all glide baits are swim baits, but not all swim baits are glide baits, if we understand that. So yeah, Poppin' Pride Crasher is a great example of a cheap frog that catches fish. But I mean, there's people like me that I like to have a different selection. I'm trying to give them something different to look at. Maybe looking for some different action in a frog and different situations. Some frogs are better on mats, some are better in open water. The BB1 Shad by Spro is actually a really good bait. One issue, has one hook on it. Any good mini glide baits? I think Gancraft makes a mini glide. The 115 Depths 115 side swimmer is not bad at all. That Molex glide is a good one, Ryan. Kevin, thoughts on the Classic being moved to June? Don't mean to go off topic. Oh yeah, I forgot. I want to do a rant on this. So all we heard on social media, YouTubes for the past month is Major League Fishing sucks. They can't make up their mind. They're moving the red crest. They're scared of bass. So are we gonna call out bass and say, yo, you moved the Classic, you switched the dates on us? That's why I thought it was kind of silly to, you know, kind of go on that wild card and talk smack to MLF for moving their red crest, because guess what? Bass had to do it. And if you can't have an expo, is there a Classic? And I'm going to be really honest here. Uh, I've thought about it and talked to some people. Is Bass only moving the Classic because of the Expo? Are they basically saying we don't really care about the fishermen that want to fish the Classic? All we care about is the money that comes in from the Expo, from the vendors. So, are they willing to not have a Classic just because they can't have an Expo? And if that's the, and let's say that's what it comes down to, say, hey, this COVID-19 still rapid. We can't do these large gatherings. By the way, fishermen that qualified for the Bassmaster Classic, we're not going to have it because we can't make money off Expo. We'll talk about that with Hellabass tomorrow. We'll talk about that with Hellabass. Because at the end of the day, whether you're MLF or Bass or NFPL, it's all about money. And a lot of times being all about money means not being about the fishermen. Dude, Academy's H2O baits are pretty good, to be honest with you. Is it worth going to a Bassmaster or should I just watch on TV? Fishing is not a spectator sport. I just watch on Bass Live. Weigh-ins can be fun. If it's a neck and neck, back and forth deal, weigh-ins are cool. But for the most, while these guys are fishing tournaments, I'm not a big get on the water and go watch people fish deal. I've done it at the Classic. I've done it on Kentucky Lake one time, and I said I'd never do it again on Kentucky Lake. I thought it was silly. So, yeah, Expo is a cash cow. But are you going to tell the guys that qualified for the Classic this year that, hey, appreciate you, good job, but we're not even going to fish the thing because we don't have an Expo? Now, is that fact? I don't know, but that's just me doing conspiracy thinking. But I just don't feel it's fair to really harass and say MLF is the worst organization ever because they changed the date on Redcrest. Obviously, they were kind of planning ahead. And, hey, it worked out for them. Now they have a fishing derby that's not on the date of the Bassmaster Classic. So, yes, I agree, too, that a lot of it does have sponsored. But so one thing about the Classic Expo, and I really need to say this from Hellabass, is the Classic's also been a big event for manufacturers bringing new products, new stuff that debut at the Bassmaster Classic. It's available at Tackle Warehouse in the next week. Well, if you run the Classic all the way to June, ICAST is usually the first week or second week of July. Do you still unveil stuff at the Classic, or do you wait to ICAST? Kind of a crazy deal right there. And we don't even know if ICAST you'll be able to go to again this year. All the tourney circuits are going to be Tourney X uploads and do your own. I don't think that'll ever work out. I really don't. The problem with Tourney X and online tournaments, it opens you up to a crazy amount of cheating. And let's just be honest here. I think a lot more of it goes on than we know of. And there's no way I would put more than a $20 entry fee up on Tourney X stuff. I know kayak guys have been doing it. It's pretty... It's a lot. It seems like after every tournament with the online format Tourney X, there's always some controversy. Do not think. All right. Sorry, Sean. Got my inside voice here. I'm not going to shout no more. Not going to shout. Yeah, I mean, you got to take care of the sponsors, but you also can't crap on your fishermen and say the sponsors are more important than you are. Because at the end of the day, there are no fishermen, there's no bass tournaments. I mean, I can get a group of people together and say, hey, guys, let's all throw $100 in this hat and go fish for, we'll get 20 boats and we'll go fish for winner take all. It's not hard to make a tournament. Now, obviously, to make a professionally run series like NFPL Bass or FLW, it takes a lot of brains and a lot of money and a lot of people on the same level. But at the end of the day, people are going to fish competitively no matter what. Dude, Colin J., I get it, man. I think a lot of people, I'm not saying cheaters run rampant and that stuff. I think for the most part, all the guys I've ever met in the kayak scene are legit. They're all on the same page. But, man, even in the big tourneys, it's like there's always some controversy. It's never, ever first place. It's always second, third, or fifth, or like places that don't matter, you know. I like the concept, Mr. Gambit, and I'm glad you brought it up. I think the future is a catch, weigh, release. Um, I do like how the Toyota Texas tournament's always been, where anything over a certain size you can bring in to weigh in. Actually, if I was going to fix Major League Fishing, I would do. You guys hear me out here. Do the catch, weigh, release, just as you're doing it, but keep a running total for the best 5. All right, your best 5 fish. At the end, when it's time to make the cut to whatever they call it, the shotgun round or elimination round, the angler with the best 5 fish total over 2 days, he automatically gets a pass to the next round. All right, do the same thing. So, and then at the end of the tournament, there's a bonus paid out for the total weight of the best 5. Okay, not just total weight of the tournament. So your normal winners in Major League Fishing format, most fish, most weight, a $5,000 bonus is put out for who had the best total weight 5 fish every day. So you may get a guy that's like not into, he can't catch 100 bass a day or 50 bass, but man, he's catching 5 that can weigh 22 to 24 pounds. Let's reward that guy. If he can do it consistently over 4 or 5 days, throw him the big 5 bonus. Send me the trademark, MLF. The big 5 bonus. Let's do it. Somebody get Boyd on the phone. I figured out a way to save his company. John Welsh, I'm not having a tournament, bud. I was just joking. Yeah, so for a guy like Greg Hackney, let's say go down to Florida. And you know what? I know it. You can load the boat with 2.5 to 4 pounders in Florida on a wacky rig. But maybe Hackney is flipping reeds. He's only getting 6, 7 bites, but his best 5 weighed 28 pounds. He only caught 10 fish. Couldn't beat Jordan Lee, who caught 43.5 pounders. Give Hack the biggest. So you keep up with the best 5 as you go to the final day. The guy with the biggest 5 bass stringer in the tournament gets a $5,000 bonus. You may see some guys say, man, I can't make it to the final round, but I can catch 5 that weigh 27, 28. There we go. Pay me my money, Boyd. You've copied everything else. You might as well copy my idea. Dude, I'm telling you, I could fix Major League Fishing really quick. You know, you don't. That's what happens when you get all these guys that wear suits and eat caviar making decisions, and you don't get guys like me and my subscribers and even guys like old Duncan that we just know. You know what I mean? I'm going to get on to. I'm going to get Kelly Jordan on here, and I will promote it to him, because I think doing that, you're still promoting catching every fish counts, but you're also helping out that guy that, dude, I'm way behind. There's no way I can catch 80 pounds today. Let's fish for the best 5. Let's see if I can't get a $5,000 bonus. It's basically like a built-in heavy hitters every tournament. So here's what I've learned about the fishing industry, Mr. Gambit. Anything that makes a lot of sense, the fishing industry does total opposite. And I shouldn't say the fishing. I don't think the tackle really counts, but as far as, you know, stuff like that, yeah, the tournament industry do the opposite of what makes sense. This is a great idea, Hellabass. I'm putting a trademark on it right here. YouTube is going to timestamp that, so if that happens, I'll find some low-budget lawyer to go after some guys. So. Yeah, dude, big bass are smart, man. As I've always said, big deer don't get big being stupid. Bass don't get big being stupid either, man. I'm going to have to walk around Louisville Slugger to beat them all. That's crazy, Dan. Let's see. We've all went. It's the Baitman Big Bass bonus. The Baitman Jankman bonus. How many pro fail the lie detector every year? I've heard a few have failed it. But, you know what? Here's the deal, man. You hear rumors all the time. And I really feel like if someone actually failed a lie detector test in a major tournament, you wouldn't hear it from your buddy that's at the boat ramp, 3 states over. It would be pretty big news. I mean, I've heard that if you fail a major league fishing lie detector, it's only a $5,000 fine. Um, could it be true? I don't know, but lie detectors are inadmissible in court, so it's not really a foolproof system. Uh, yeah. Speaking of Jacob Wheeler, if y'all got some questions for Jacob Wheeler, let me know because I think Wheeler's going to come on Baitman Live. That was an announcement I meant to make yesterday. We're going to try to catch him. He mentioned to a good friend of mine that actually went fishing with him the other day. My friend said, "Man, you ought to do a Baitman show." And he said, "Dude, give me my number. I'd love to talk." And I've talked to him before. And he said it'd be cool with it. So imagine getting Jacob Wheeler on Baitman Live. We'll see. It may not happen. We'll see. Who do you think is hot to win 2021 Masters? Cherry Kill 2020 for sure. What do you think about him? I love Hank Cherry, a great jerkbait fisherman. Going to be totally honest here, a lot of it was due to COVID. I don't think Hank Cherry maximized his Bassmaster Classic win. Like, after the Classic, there was zero press, zero publicity other than the Mega Bass jerkbait that come out of the Classic win. I really feel like could have maximized that a little bit better. Several guys have won the Classic. It's gone crazy. Now, obviously, KBD wins. It's different. It kind of like Cliff Pace is a great guy, builds awesome Boston crankbaits. But a lot of people would tell you Cliff was just he won the Classic and that's all you heard. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm going to text Mr. Wills, Jay Wills. He's from what I was told on vacation right now, and we'll try to get him on here. And listen, I'm going to keep it always keep it classy. Always keep it classy. I don't mind asking the hard questions, but I'm never going to downgrade a person or product. So I had some people on Instagram saying, "Yeah, Ben, you and Ben need to roast Catch Co. and talk crap about this bait and that bait." Man, I don't want to give those people more publicity than they already had. That's not where I want to go with this channel. I'm not here to talk crap about baits. Now, I can be constructively criticizing something, but still keep it classy. Dude, Black Label Boss is crazy. Yes, so that's why I want Wheeler on here, because he is a bait junkie, believe it or not. He's really good with stuff. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. When has Wheeler ever won on a Guggen bait? I don't remember Wheeler ever winning on a Guggen bait. I've definitely seen him fish them. I know he's won on this accent spinnerbait you see back behind me. Absolutely. Yes, Mark texted me today and said, "Yo, Pickwick in the spring, I won on Wilson." I said, "I know, I'm thinking about you." He's excited. His back is a lot better. Mark is going to actually come in here and sit down and do a live one-on-one session with YouTube here probably in the next week or so. I'm going to get 2 webcams, one for Mark and one me, that we don't have to sit right next to each other. I'm not really worried about him trying to Jerry Sandusky me, but it'd be nice to have my own personal space. Yes, here, this is the Jacob Wheeler, the J Wheeler's River Special. This one with a little bit bigger blades. It's got the triple blades on it. This is a good bait, man. Accent makes awesome spinner baits. They're good people. And I do love the Accent buzzbait as well. So, dude, I'll be honest, be straight up with you. If Menendez was to win this year, I think you'll see him retire at the end of the year. I did go there. Let's see. He catches fish because he has talent. It's not the baits. Dude, Wheeler has mad skills. He's very, very good on depth finders. I mean, people are going to say, "Oh, Wheeler, he just gets the best help and all this." But, dude, they all get help. I'm sorry to bust people's bubble, but the guy that finishes last and the guy that finishes first place, they're all getting help. You know what I mean? I hate to say it, Now, some guys are really good about getting the right help. Some just whatever. I think there's a few guys out there, mainly Rick Clunn, that and a few others that don't get any. Washington County news station in Utah just shot me a 99-cent make you holler, maybe the best name that's ever donated to the channel. So I got about 63-cent donation. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. You know, Michael, man, that's a great point. I think the guys that maximize their practice days always seem to do the best. And by maximizing a practice day, I don't necessarily mean just being out there 10 hours. Practicing the right stuff in the right areas, not burning too much time behind a graph versus actually trying to figure out what the fish are going to be doing 2 days. Because if you practice for the day in a tournament, I always feel you're practicing backwards. Because what you find on a Monday is not going to be the same as you're going to fish for on a Tuesday. And I think Wheeler is really good at that. Polnick's really good. Dude, Skeet Reese used to be really good at it. Skeet just had some bad luck. You've seen guys like David Mullins, Seth Fighter. The Johnston brothers are really good practice fishermen that practice. They're always trying to find fish that are coming to them, not fish that are going away from them, if that makes sense. Really need to do more tournament style streams on here. You know, I'm not Johnny Schultz. Welcome to Fish the Moment. Johnny's really good, but I like his Arkansas draw. Welcome to Fish the Moment. I'd like to get him on here. He seems like a cool dude. He's definitely got the tournament stuff dialed in. Going to tell you the best way for me to fish a tournament is not know till the night before and show up and I can just be the net man. It's a really good feeling when you get paid half the money just to dip fish in the net. Works out real well for me. Wheeler fished with Terry McWilliams growing up. Terry McWilliams is a great fisherman too. Hellabass should be my tourney talk. Oh, we got fantasy fishing coming up, Hellabass. Who is down for a Baitman fantasy fishing league? Beat the Baitman, and I will send you an autographed 12-pack of Mountain Dew. Now, Johnny's good on electronics. I'm going to tell you, Brandon Hunter is really good here locally. Ben Parker's the best I've ever seen on him. Well, absolutely. Electronics has changed the tournament fishing. Do you have to have them to win? My answer is no, depending on the tournament. Electronics aren't going to help you on a sight fishing derb. A serious podcast league. I'm down for that. So I'll get a Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing League going. I'll let you guys know when I start it up. I need to do it quick. And if you sign up, and I'll do a video announcing it, but when you sign up, use your YouTube name, so if you win, everyone will know. Oh, Cole and Jay talking that smack. Dude, how awesome would it be if we had fantasy fishing like DraftKings, where you can make some good money? That'd be awesome. Yes, Brent Hunter does some really good trips, Justin Cook. He's about the best I've seen on the rants. Jake Lawrence, Ben Parker, Brandon Hunter. That's my 3 local guys here that are really, really good. I used to know my way around the Lawrence really well as well, but the new stuff is different. No, can't invite. If you fish the opens or above, you're not allowed to fish fantasy fishing. No Sandusky will be allowed in the fantasy fishing. He's not a. He can't even be around football. He's definitely not going to be around fishing. Dude, that Josh Jones guy, holy smokes. I heard it's $1,000 a day, which is fine. Matt Lee, all right, so I saw something on Facebook, and people were roasting Matt Lee for charging $800 a day. I don't blame him. He's a pro. His time is limited. There's no need for him to sell himself short. Same with Matt and Tim. I heard their trips are like $1,000 to $1,200 for a full day trip. Dude, they're super, super popular. Why would they sell themselves short? Dude, Fritz was awesome with the flasher. There's a lot of guys that were really good on those flashers. Mike Otten was a really good fisherman that used a flasher quite a bit. Yeah, here's how I feel about getting information in bass derbies. It's how I feel about steroids in like mixed martial arts. Dude, you're putting people in a cage trying to fight each other. Why would you not want to see all yoked and juice up? Same with baseball. I mean, who cares if they do steroids as long as it's all good. I mean, people aren't here to see watch baseball to watch the shortstop throw it to first base. They're to see guys hit home runs and make athletic plays all the time. That's just me, and I'm not trying to go crazy conspiracy theory. So Ripple Fritz still uses dude. Randy Flowers has agreed to do a podcast. I need a Randy's kind of gone quiet. No doubt Randy has some good behind the scenes knowledge of the flasher usage. Yeah, if everyone's doing steroids, the playing field's even. That's how I feel. I mean, back in when Cole knows Griffey Jr. had 40 home runs before the strike in '94. He was on pace to hit like 96, and that didn't happen. And then we had the Bonds, McGuire, Sosa, and Griffey. And Griffey kind of fell behind, but it's crazy, man. King Griffey Jr. is my favorite all-time baseball player, and you can't say he did steroids because dude got fat and slow. And when he got hurt, he stayed hurt. Some of these guys, they got hurt, they're back next week. Oh, look, my arm broke in half. That's all right. Hey, look at your bionic arm. I think they're going to start Snake River guy. Gary Mason. Really, Ripple? Man, you and Burger must be drinking Busch lattes. I don't even know who Gary Mason is. You talking baseball guys? All right. Dude, Jose Canseco was crazy off the fishing, but I remember when that MTV Rock and Jocks softball, and they'd have Canseco on there, and the bat looked like it was that big. He was that juiced. And one thing I will respect Jose Canseco for, that dude did not say I never took steroids. He was just like, straight, yeah, man, I pretty much ate them things. Who was the football player that was the #1 draft pick that went to the Vikings, I believe? It wasn't Brian Bosworth. And maybe it was, but this dude was juiced out of his mind. And then once he got to the NFL, he lost all his... Tony Mandarich, that's it. Somebody watched the ESPN thing on Mandarich. That dude was like Brock Lesnar. And then he basically admitted he had to quit doing steroids in the NFL. Lost everything. Oh, yeah, that's right, Luke. Gary Mason, they weren't out. They'd been touching a lot of dicks or something like that. That was on Randy's post. Obviously, probably one of the worst autocorrects I've ever seen in Facebook history. I wish I took a screenshot. But if you're ever talking about duck hunting, make sure it says duck hunting and not dick hunting, or people are going to laugh at you. And especially, yeah. Yeah, Tony Mandarich was just freaking, whew. I am juiced on Sundrop, man. But I'm thirsty. I may have to go down to the gas station and get me some more Mountain Dew, actually. Yeah, Bo Jackson, he trucked Tony Mandarich into next month. It was ridiculous. We talking baseball. We can't overlook Mike Trout. No steroids, just talent. Dude, Trout is great, man. I'm getting back into baseball. I've been off of it for a few years. I actually just got burned out. I loved playing baseball. Man, Cook, I'm trying to give the dues up. It's hard. It's like hardest thing I've ever had to do. Tony Mandarich actually came back to the NFL, claimed he did win a Super Bowl with the Colts. That is true. Oh, I always get Mandarich and Bosworth mixed up because they're kind of the same story. And I'm pretty sure Brock Lesnar tried to play for the Vikings as well. But that was kind of a publicity stunt. Who is the Tony Mandritz of bass fishing? That's what I want to know. Who is the guy that looks the part and never catches them? Somebody tell me. Dude, I'd love to get thrift on. Who's the Tony Mandritz of professional bass fishing? That looked the part and just didn't do it. Actually, let's say actually made it to the Elite Series, or Baitman does not look the part. I do not walk around in a freaking bowling jersey with patches on me. No. And don't try to be a professional fisherman. Chris Grow. I guess I don't know him. Mike Long. There you go. I will have to say Jason Christie with a Y, but he did fish the FLW Tour. Unfortunately, Christie with the Y had to bail out a couple events. I didn't say it, Chris. I did not say that. You said that, not me. Mike Long's a pretty good one, though. But he never fished tournaments. He just snagged baits. Dude, I'll be honest. Scott Martin can catch him. Whether you like Scott or no, he can catch him. He actually did a really good jerkbait video, even though he decided to keep plugging the Guggen Scout. By the way, Scott, if you're watching this, the color you're talking about you didn't know, it's called Elegy Bone. It's a ripoff of a Mega Bass color. Sir snags a lot. You know what? Fish Fishburne is a great guy. I'd love to get Fishburne on here. I might know how to get a hold of him. And Fish Fishburne, to this day, multiple Bass Elite guys have told me is the best sight fisherman that was ever on the Bassmaster Tour. Was that good. Not going to get Boyd Duckett on here. Hey, I'll try. I'll get Boyd on here. I think I can do it. Scott is a walking advertisement, which is a shame. His content was top notch. Dude, I'm not a big fan of Roland because of what he did to me when I was a kid. But Scott's always been pretty good to me. And, dude, he can catch him. I hate to say it. I know people are like, oh, he gets the best help and all this. Okay, Jacob Wheeler situation. What if he does? You still got to catch him. Scott's a great fisherman. What's up, Justin Royal in the house, man? I had to take me a picture of this thing for the IG. A Royal smashing on the flat 75. Fish Fishburne was great. Claude Fish Fishburne. If a guy was a stick and one, he could make it in the pros with no sponsors and just fish what he wanted. Great example of that. Steve Kennedy is that guy. He's like sponsored by 2 people. Fishes what he wants. Catches them. There you go. Tony Mandritz equals Lunkers TV. Does that dude even make fishing videos anymore? Like, it's, hey, buy my t-shirts, or let me show you how to shoot a gun, or check out my fake titty girlfriend. Hey, more power to you if you got all that money, because definitely more than me. And if he's making it work, that's cool. But I have actually said something to Scott about that deal. And he just told me straight up, and and I respect Scott. He said, "Hey man, I hate that happened to you, and I'll let him know, and I'm sorry you feel that way." He said, "Just know I would never do that to you." And he was cool, and he actually gave me. I know this is funny. When I told him that, he's like, "Hey man, what do you think of all these new live target baits?" He had this huge. He stayed at a buddy of mine's house, the last Kentucky Lake tournament. And he had this huge thing of live target stuff. I said, man, I don't know. And he said, well, let's open it up. Like, he got excited. So I opened up this big thing of live target with him, and we went through it. He was actually really cool. But I like Scott. He's always treated me well. Yo, Welcher did really good. Welcher seems good. Brian Snowden is my Tony Mandritch. Didn't Snowden win a couple? Ripple? Long story short, if you haven't heard the Roland Martin story, When I was like 8 years old, Baitman Jr.'s age, the helicopter lure come out. Somehow his people contacted me. I'd caught a couple big fish on the helicopter lure, one like 8 pounds. So I did part of an infomercial for them on the promise I would get a bunch of helicopter lures and this and that. Never happened. Get about 10 years old, I'm like taking fish from the stage to the tank from FLW tournament. Roland comes up, I get his fish. I said, Mr. Martin, you know, I'm glad to meet you, blah, blah, blah. I did this commercial for you. And he's like, oh, yeah, you did, kid. You know, sure did. I knew you were familiar. And I said, I never got my baits, Mr. Martin. And he said, well, you know what? If you'll come out to my bass boat after you dump those fish off, I'll give you a bunch of new baits and some new spinner baits. And I was like, all right, yeah. So I hurry to the tank. I release his fish. I go right to his boat. He's turning the key. And I said, hey, can I get some of those baits? And he said, oh, I ain't got time today, kid. And he just backed her off and went out of Morris Marina Harbor. I was pissed. And to this day, I pretty much want to slap the shit out of that dude. I mean, you don't do that to a 10-year-old kid. Maybe he had something way more important to me. But that's the story. Did not, you know, after that, I never wanted to see Roland Martin again. And so that's what I told Scott. And he was like, man, I hate that. He seemed to actually be sincere about it. So I got respect for Scott about that. Now, obviously, maybe I was in the wrong place, wrong time. You know, I'm not as famous as Roland Martin. He probably gets hit up for autographs way more than me. But I promise I would never do that to a kid. If it was a 22, 23-year-old guy like begging me or whatnot, different. I would never do that to someone's kid, you know. So that's my advice to people that are on YouTube. They're obviously way more popular than me because I'm not that popular. You never know who you're influencing in these videos. Like Justin Rowe is a great dude. Like, we're good friends. We talk on Instagram quite a bit about random stuff too. Cole and Jay, we're good friends. If I heard something like, hey man, someone DM me said, man, I saw Justin Rowe on the lake. My kid's a big fan, and he like told him to go piss off and went sign. I would be like, Rowe, I'm gonna whip your ass if I see you for doing that. But what I'm saying is, you never know who you're influencing or who's look up to you. And part of being a professional, whether it's a fisherman or a baseball player or whatnot, is you got to accept that once you put yourself in the public lot, you have to be professional 24/7, not just, you know, when I'm streaming here on the webcam. Actually, I'm probably worse on the webcam than I am anywhere because I'm away from my kids and my wife. But that's crazy, Big Bass Assassin. Crazy. I've heard a lot of that, man, but here's how I am. I treat people how I want to be treated. End of story. You can have multiple felonies, murder charges, got out of jail for multiple years. You treat me good, that's how I treat you. Period. I don't judge people by the past, because one, I'm not the judge. That goes for fishing too. You know what? I hear people say, man, this guy's a terrible fisherman, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. You know what? We might go fishing. I might have a great time. Sometimes it's not about being a great fisherman or the equipment you have. It's just about, are you passionate? Do you love it? I'm not the best fisherman, but I love the baits. I love going fishing. And that's how I base this channel. We're at 1 hour and 40 minutes. I did not mean to stream for this long, but we are. Whew. Speaking of heat tonight, guys, I'm just getting warmed up from when we get old Ben Milliken up on here Saturday night. And Epic Eric. Hopefully Eric's going to be able to join me. It is past Bailey's bedtime. Alright. I appreciate everybody that has joined into the stream tonight. I had about 200 viewers all night. We went through some knockoff baits. We went through some cool baits. I'm going to get together a nice OG giveaway. I'll mix a bunch of stuff in that I've got here in the last, and we'll do something next week. Guys, make sure you hit that notification bell on this video. I'll make a thumbnail or something. So if you didn't get to watch the first, you can go back tomorrow. Tomorrow night, hella bass. We'll talk some tournament bass fishing. We'll unbox Baitman Jr. stuff and whatever, man. Don't forget about Justin Roll's tackle wall Tuesday. Send him email. It's on his video if you want your tackle shown off. I got to send him like 50 pictures for mine. So, and don't forget, show me your janks. I think I made an email. I forgot the name, but I put in here. I want to highlight your big bass pictures. I think it's like show me your janks or something like that at gmail.com. But